Right. Welcome to the Compliance Weekly Sync for the 22nd of March. If you live in the future, I don't know what the date is elsewhere, but yeah, we'll go with that. All right, so the first order of business is just to walk the milestone board. Does anyone else want to share their screen? Otherwise, I can do it. No, okay, I'll share my screen, run through that. Right. And from last week, our last closed issue was the new audit event. Holy moly, that was wages down. All right, got lots to celebrate this week. The first one is displaying the external status check ID in the UI with Jay. Do you want to talk us through this?
Yeah, so sorry, I don't have a demo ready for this. I should have had one, but yeah, it was just a quick change to I think it was a request to add that status ID so it's easier to ping the API. And yeah, after some iteration, some design iteration, that status check ID is now there and is live. And yeah, I think there is some screenshots in the issue. Maybe not. Maybe it was just the yeah.
Nice. Awesome. That's going to make it a lot easier for people to find that ID and use that in the API.
Yeah.
The next one was add a group level setting for all threads must be resolved. I don't know if I know that's a GHU contribution. I don't know if anyone else knows about that though. No, we'll move on then. So scope a feature flag for group protected branches to groups. I know this was part of a GHU contribution that Josefa is helping to finish up and get across the line, which is group protected branches. And I know that there is an issue for the feature flag rollout that we're looking at doing this week, which will be exciting as well. Remove audit log group level feature with Hasima. I don't know if anyone else helped verify or knows about this one.
It's just we have that feature flag that was never turned on to. We have another ticket to implement a feature of returning group and project audit events under the same API endpoint. We have that feature, but it didn't work because it was too inefficient. So this was
Damn, lost him. I feel like we're just getting to the juicy part there.
oh, sorry, my internet's not great. I would say it was just removing all of that code to so we could start fresh. So
great. The next one was create a periodic cron for checks for consistency in the data for the compliance violation request table. I don't know if anyone else helped verify that one for Josefa. But this was, so Josefa's been working on the compliance violation optimization, and this was a periodic cron to make sure that the data in the two tables was aligned and synced, just to catch anything that was out of order. Group audit events not showing all membership changes with Michael.
yeah, this was a customer reported bug. Though it kind of wasn't really a bug, it just was never implemented. But when you invite a group to another group or remove or edit their membership, we were not generating audit events for those actions. So I added the audit events for adding a group, removing a group, modifying the group permissions. So those are all in production now.
Cool. Next one was the feature flag rollout of the compliance framework report. I think everyone knows what this is, so yay. Good to see that out. Next was the polling for status checks. Ilya, are you able to talk to that one?
Sorry, 1 second.
No worries.
Yeah, Paul, it was like a very trivial check. So about implementing a proper poly, well, pretty self-descripting, polling for the status check, respecting the page visibility, typical thing. So not much to add. Works as expected. Great work by Elvin, and I was complaining there as a final reviewer a bit, and I hope we've delivered a great feature together.
Right, and the last one was end-to-end tests for compliance framework report. So I know Mark has been working hard on this as one of our new features out the door, and has got that across the line, which is the first end-to-end test for the compliance group, which is a solid first of many, let's put it that way. All right, next is the verification column, and we've got 4 in progress there. Is there any that need to be discussed or have any trouble verifying? Or anyone that, all right, we'll move on to the in-dev and in-review, and it looks like we've got 12 issues in flight at the moment. Is there any that anyone wants to talk through or discuss as having any issues with? Ellie, I don't know if you want to give us an update on the apply compliance framework.
Well, from the perspective of the merge request, it went first stage of review. I'm just implementing like tiny nitpicks here and there for more eye candy, and the biggest pain of all front-end engineers, making the table look nice on all screen sizes. But also, as you, Nate, mentioned in the weekly, this merge request raised me a bigger question on how we are going to handle bulk operations in our GraphQL API. So I really appreciate everyone. I didn't check it that much today, but I saw already at least one reply. So I will be happy to see any contributions there.
Cool. And the other one was the filtering and compliance framework. So I've taken over this from Alwyn, and that's the other high priority one. So I'm hopeful to get the MR out this week. So thanks, Alwyn, for all your hard work setting that up. None unblocked, fantastic. Solution validation and planning breakdown. Was there any that anyone wanted to talk about or discuss in here? Get some feedback. No, cool. Final column is the design. And Camelia, I don't know if you want to give us an update on how things are going with that.
I think this one we can move to next steps. The design is already finished. All the design review comments are resolved. And yeah, I don't know how, like, usually there is Epic, I can put the design on. So for planning breakdown, or like, how does it work? Because it's design issue. So we should move it to somewhere, or like.
Okay, so we can close it. I think you've
Yeah, we can close it. Yeah.
Right. All right, and then next, so that's the milestone board. Next step is, because it's the first weekly of the milestone, we have the engineering board, and I'll just make sure that I'm So this is the new board that I created. So we'll just talk through this quickly and make sure that there's nothing to discuss. The big call out is 100% on the error budget. So fantastic work, team. It's been that way for the last month after a couple of little dips. So we're making great progress there. MR types, so we're at 43% for features, 40 for maintenance, 41 for maintenance, and 16 for bugs. I think that's roughly around about right with a lot of the other stuff that we've got on the moment, but I think features will take over in this milestone quite a lot. I think with all of the audit event stuff that's contributed to the maintenance work. Any comments on that from anyone else? No. I know I called this out in the retro, but we've seen a 27% increase in the MR rate, which is awesome. And there is only 2 old feature flags in here. And I know the one that we're going to roll out this week is the group protected branches, but I don't know if anyone else knows about the support group level merge check settings and that feature flag and whether we need to investigate that. Can I get a volunteer to look into that one?
Isn't that an issue that is in solution validation, I think? Not solution, maybe planning breakdown. You scroll up to the top of planning breakdown. Place drop down selection for branch prediction.
Ah, so that's that one.
I believe it's that one. And there is a planning breakdown in that one, like a very high level. So maybe it can be moved to ready for development.
Okay, great. Open sus bugs. We've got one with no severity, the apply compliance framework. Earlier, I don't know if you want to talk to that one about what severity it should be.
Actually, I believe it is board is not just refreshed. You've suggested, or maybe I missed and didn't apply the severity. You proposed the severity as free major, and it feels like for me because before this feature lands, the workaround is inconvenient and causing major trouble for customers assigning compliant frameworks in bulk.
Okay, great. Yeah, there we go. It disappeared. And we've got no S1 or S2s. There is one S2 past due severity bug, which is the compliance violation query. And I know Huzafer is already all over that. Otherwise, the others are lower severity that we have. And the final one was the open MRs. So we've got one community contribution there, which is fix the license available from group. Okay, that's the group protected branches from GHU. I guess we're just looking through this list to see if there's any that we need to call out from a community perspective and try help out in any that are past 60 days. So that's all from that. Share my screen. And the next order of business is OKRs, updates, and progress. So my first one was the BIC gap analysis. All of the work that we had identified out of that has been scheduled for the next 2 milestones. So that's all in order. Aaron?
Yeah. I've been looking over the remaining issues in the epic that we have for refactoring remaining audit events, or at least the ones we plan for doing, looking at this OKR. A lot of different people have been helping with that, and I super appreciate it. Right now, mainly looking at 4 issues that are currently in dev. We have a couple more that are in verification right now. So I wanted to, I don't think anyone in this meeting is currently assigned to those, but I'm going to be reaching out to see kind of what the status are, because we have a couple that are in dev that I don't see an MR on. I know I'm going to be talking to a couple people in copy chats this week as well. The only thing that's kind of slowed us down a little bit more than expected, I think, is the issue of local testing. We've seen some inconsistent test coverage when it comes to our audit events, and a lot of the audit event implementations have varied greatly. And we've talked about this before, but when it comes to making sure that the logged audit events and the stream audit events are basically remaining the same from before the refactor and to after is something that I'm trying to make sure that we're taking the time to do that correctly, because that's fairly important. So it's been a little bit of a time sink. There's also been the issue too, and I mentioned this to Harsimar on a review. Since audit events are covering a lot of the code, when we want to verify these things locally, some things require some very specific setups. I'm just thinking specifically about the group SAML audit events. There is a way to set up group SAML in a local instance. I had to dig around Slack to find the GDK page on how to do that. So there is some documentation. It's still a very involved process. So we run into things like that as well. So I'm going to reach out to other devs and see if they have a clear path forward on testing that. But that's kind of only been kind of unexpected kind of slog point for this, but I still feel pretty good that with 4 issues left, that this is going to get done and verified by this milestone. So I just wanted to reach out and see if anyone had any blockers on that, to just mention that. But again, I think that's going to be on me to just reach out to those people. So. But that's where we're at right now in that OKR.
Right. And the next 2 are from Harsimar and Josepha. So anyone else want to voice those? Because no one wants to hear me blabber on. Come on, somebody. I'll do the first one then. From Harsimar, he has added a proposal in conclusion to the issue pasted there, and I believe that's around the performance of the audit events limits. And so he's asked everyone to please review that proposal and provide feedback, or at least a tick or whatever, so that we're aligned and can move on to the next steps. Anyone want to voice Josepha's one, because he's not on the call? Nope. The OKR for creating a single source of truth for all audit events is at 70% complete, which is based off the back of the work that Aaron was talking about, and is on track to be completed in the quarter. So that's great. Next is FYIs and questions. Mark has put there, just in case you're not aware, you can use the staging ref as a sandbox environment if you need to test a change that isn't behind a feature flag, or the flag is enabled globally, or anything else that might be disruptive if tested, and has put a link to some documentation in the handbook around how to do that. So thanks, Mark, for that. And the final point was, yeah, there's been an update to the verification process. So I just wanted to make sure everyone's aware of it. Previously, when moving to verification, you unassigned yourself and the bot would automatically assign it to another engineer. You now no longer need to unassign yourself. You just add it to verification. And if there's one engineer, it'll add another engineer to verify it, and then they can just close it and unassign once they're verified. So yeah, there's a link to the handbook update there.
Are well, I guess I was going to say for the new verification process, do we plan on revisiting that in after a few milestones to like see if it has done any good? I'm just wondering, just because of my experience of going through it, we've only just added it, so it's only been a little while, but it just doesn't seem, to me, it feels like a bit of an overcorrection for as an action item that came out of the issue. There was a lot of stuff that came out of the issue that spurred the new verification process. And to me, it just seems like it adds way more time and friction, and eats up more velocity than the actual harm that was caused by the issue is trying to correct for. So, but like I said, it's only been not even like a full milestone with it. So I'm willing to give it more time, but it's just something I wanted to flag to have people keep in mind and think about, just in case we decide to revisit it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Does anyone else have thoughts on this? Sure. Derek, you might have a thought. No?
No, I actually have not really looked at it. I've been, since coming back from PTO, I haven't had time to look through all of that. So I can look through it and let you know what I think.
Cool. I guess, yeah, we can review it in all of our retros every milestone to see, and if there's more comments about it being what's the word, like decreasing output or throughput, I guess, then we can review it and see if there's a way to speed it up or do whatever. Yeah, always open to that. Cool. Was there anything else from anyone? I know we've gone over time already because of my mess up with the rooms, but I will fix that straight after this. No. All right, I'll stop the recording. See everyone wave for the camera.